Okay, we are back with the Hot Seat Roadshow, and we've got Daryl and Mighty Max. And Mighty Max, you were about to do a show somewhere else. I mean, are you dancing at the Deja Vu, or is it in Redlands, or what's happening there?
Shut up! No, everything's perfect over here. Actually, you might be referring to the picture I had posted about me dancing.
Yeah.
I used to dance for the Inland Empire Invaders.
Okay.
It was a short-lived basketball team that came out here. Not much support from the community.
What's your background in dance?
I danced for my entire life. I started dancing when I was 2 at Bree Dance Studio.
Wait, you know Cliff?
Yeah, I know Clifford Breland.
I know Cliff when he started his studio.
Cliff and Ron.
Cliff and Ron.
Right? You got
Ben was a teacher.
Yes, you got Ebony, Aisha.
London. What's her name? Syrian
Reed, who's still dancing.
Yes, to this very day. Small world.
Soul. Yes.
Small world.
Right, so I was raised in that dance studio.
Okay. I used to drop them off and pick them up and go to all the dance competitions. So Bree Studio is still going strong. And I remember when Bree used to come to formats and competitions, attitude the whole way.
B-R-E, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and all the other studios would hate on them because Bree would win. And and as you guys grew up, it was really funny because you see these young, when they're little kids, nappy-headed and stuff like that. And then they get older and they turn into like beautiful women. I'm talking about built, athletic, and just, then they grow up to, at the time I'm like 21, 18 at the time. So these are little kids and they grow up to beautiful women. And I mean, just beautiful bodies. I'm not saying that like as a pervert. I'm saying like beautiful bodies as a strong athletic build. And every one of them, as they branched out, took a little bit of Cliff Breland with them and his style.
Love Cliff.
Yeah, and you can always see a Breland style. Even if I saw somebody at another studio and I didn't know them, I would say, "Did you?" And they say, "Oh yeah, I danced at Bree," and you can see that. So, and they're still in existence, and they're on 9th Street in Riverside.
Yep, downtown.
So, and Cliff is originally from Mississippi, not far from my hometown. So, we go back a long time because I remember when he first opened his studio. Not the one on 9th Street. He had one that was off the 60.
Wow.
Yeah. So
I want to talk about you though, okay. Donovan.
Yes, it's about time we talk about me.
Right. Here's the deal.
Okay.
So Donovan shared with us earlier he was 148 pounds and 5'10", and so this is what I do for people when they sit down with me. I really customize a program for them, but your resting metabolic rate would be 1,900. So throughout the day you're burning 1,900 calories. So if you're not intaking over 1,900 calories a day, okay, so you're maintaining or losing weight, which is why you can stay so small, right? If you were to increase your calorie intake as well as eat more than 140 grams of protein per day.
I'm trying to find a girlfriend that can cook.
I can't be your girlfriend, but I can definitely be your food provider.
Right, okay.
Right, your nutritionist.
Okay.
Your health coach.
Gotcha.
And I would help you make sure you're taking in over 140 grams of protein, which would allow you to gain some healthy lean mass.
Okay, great.
As long as you're working out and eating real food on the side and making sure you're getting your rest.
I eat a lot of salads and stuff like that.
You need more protein.
Yeah.
Let's get some carbs in your body. Let's get some chicken, some turkey, some seafood.
I eat a lot of chicken. I mean, Winco has the best chicken in the city. Winco is just there. That 4-piece, you can't beat it. You can't beat that. $3.98 for 4 pieces or whatever it is.
A couple hundred push-ups, sit-ups.
Well, I do a lot of benching and stuff like that. So, and then I'm doing a kitchen tear out of my home right now, so I did all that.
So you're burning a lot of calories throughout the day, and you're lifting, but not consuming more than you're burning, which is probably what you've been doing your entire life.
Yes.
Which is why you've been so
thin. Ectomorph. Yeah.
Ectomorph.
Yeah. And and the funny thing is, I have big people in my family. I'm talking about overweight.
Right.
So.
And so just for you. You've been blessed with the skinny gene. I like to call it.
So far.
And so what will happen is when you become active, you will gain weight.
Okay. Yeah. And I really believe that because my older brothers, we're only 13 months apart. He's wide, whereas I'm tall and lean, and it's like
your body allows you to burn more throughout the day.
Okay.
Because there's so many things that go into resting metabolic rate: age, height, activity throughout the day, and so that may be allowing you to stay so.
Okay, well, for my age, that's not bad, right?
No, and your BMI, like we said, it was 21, so you're definitely within a healthy range.
Now, let me ask you this. Is it, for people who want to get healthy, is it really good to have a trainer or an advisor?
I would definitely say it's great
Somebody to
have
motivate
someone
you.
who's going to motivate you, support you, and keep you along the right path. Because I know when I was trying to do it by myself, it took me 6 months to lose 20 pounds.
Really?
Oh my gosh, when I was, my health journey started in 2013. Shout out to Facebook for the memories, because I just saw
I saw that.
post that was like, gonna go work out with Dewan, who's a trainer here in the Reno Valley area, and so I was struggling back and forth, working out with them. But then
Yeah, you don't look like you
off.
used to look. I mean, you look like a totally different
Right,
person.
because I was
so.
struggling. And then 2014, I woke up and I was like, I'm going to run every day. Well, of course I didn't run every day. No one else was running with me. No one was pushing me. Everyone was calling me crazy. Just saying, you look great. You're a big bone. Get over it. You don't have to be that skinny. Blah, 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 blah.
Right.
But I knew in my head, this is what I want to look like. And this is when I look in the reflection, I want to be happy. It's not up to you. It's not up to my genetics. Because a lot of people say, oh, it's genetics. But it's 70% lifestyle and 30% genetics. So I knew I could change that. And then when I got a coach, when I started eating correct, when I started having motivation and inspiration and information and knowledge about what I should be doing, I dropped 37 pounds in 90 days. So pretty much double what I dropped
in 90 days, right?
In half the time.
Interpolated.
And so it was super incredible to have someone like my coach who would call me at 4 a.m. and FaceTime me all the way until I got to the gym, because I told him that's what I wanted.
But isn't it true that the hardest part about losing weight is getting to the gym?
The hardest part, yes, and I still struggle with that. So, a lot of people from my Facebook and my Instagram just think I love the gym. No, I like to look good.
Right.
Right?
And she looks good. Like I said, if you're looking for a good woman, young, smart, ASU, sassy, yes.
Oh, right, I just got my grades back, got my A.
There you go.
Yes,
So when's the graduation?
Graduation's in December. Feel free to DM me, come party up.
Right.
We're going to be working out while we're out there, because there's a lot of sites to hike while you're in Arizona.
Okay.
But
so you're going to the campus to graduate?
I'm going to the campus to graduate. Okay. Yes, I've never seen the campus.
I have a friend who was stationed with me here at March Air Force Base, whose daughter is on the ASU basketball team. And I think she's going to be the starting point guard this year.
She's popping.
Yes.
I've never been to a game. I've never seen the campus, so I'm really excited to go and experience and be a real Sun Devil for a couple of days.
Right.
I don't even have any gear.
Yeah.
You know where to get ASU gear in California?
eBay, Amazon.
Let me know.
Order it.
But definitely, so I'm excited to help anyone looking to get their protein factor, their resting metabolic rate, and customize a program to their needs or your needs.
Right. Now again, we're on the second part of the show, so how do we get in contact with you?
You can reach me on Instagram at JustMaxin, JUSTMAXXIN. DM me, like a lot of pictures. I'll follow you back. We'll chit chat about your health goal. You can also reach me on Facebook, MAXX Max Thomas, and I reach back to everyone. So, and if you don't reach me on Facebook, they have those filtered messages.
Right.
Please just, I guess you can email me.
Right.
fittothemax@gmail.com. And that's where you can find
Or
me.
you can email her here on this show, and we'll get her the message here as well. So Max got another meeting she's going to. But let me tell you, fellas, if you're looking for a beautiful, athletic, built woman, I'm talking about this woman is like Wonder Woman. I mean,
go to my Instagram. And talk to her up.
Yeah, you have to look at this girl. This girl's, she's fine. She's fine now. Like I said, so.
Thank you.
So Max, like I said, it's great having you on the show. Everything like that. We wish you great things. I can't wait till we go to Ensenada, turn up.
See you next
And do
week.
that. Yeah, next week. We're going to be here next week. And like I said, after the election, less than 30 days, we're going to be doing a lot of bigger things.
Turn up.
And we're going to take care of everybody. And we're going to take a break and actually kind of go and do something. And, Daryl will be elected, so he won't be going. But we'll be doing all that. But Matt, thanks for having you.
Thank you.
We'll see you again next week.
Yes, sir.
And like I said, just take care and stay in touch.
Yes.
And wear some clothes.
No, well, I'll be fully clothed because I'll be in Minnesota this
Yeah.
weekend.
We don't
Doing
even
a
want to
friend.
ask what you will be doing in
I'll be
Minnesota.
visiting
Oh, no,
some
you're going to be
friends.
visiting Princess Place.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm going to the Great Mall of America.
I've been there.
I don't
It's
even
great.
like to
It's
shop,
nice. Right.
But
right.
I do like amusement
But make
parks.
sure you stop by Paisley Park and see Princess Estate.
Okay.
Do that. And
Okay.
then it's going to be cold up there, so I don't want any questions.
God, it's going to be freezing. Let me tell you, I had to buy pants.
Yes.
I don't own, pairs of pants. I don't own sweaters.
Fellas, I'm telling you, when she gets back, you're going to have to look at this girl's legs. You will be impressed.
Yeah, I don't
yes.
own pants. They rub. So.
There you go. Hey, nothing wrong with that. All right, Max, we're going to see you again next week. Take care and keep in touch because, like I said, I don't want you missing. Like, everybody see Max?
Look, I was here early today.
No, I'm talking about missing in Minnesota.
Oh, no, he'll be fine.
All right, we'll see Max then. So, Mr. Terrell, what do you got for us locally that's happening?
Well, I got an article from the Press Enterprise addressing about the homeless issue. They had a day-long workshop. Tuesday was October 11th. The council heard from residents and business owners and nonprofit and government officials about the scope of the city's homeless problems and the list of possible ways to address them. But also during that day-long conference, there was different speakers, and they were talking about the effects of homelessness on the city of Riverside. And there was a parks director Adolfo Cruz that said there were like 22 of the city's 46 parks have ongoing regular impact from homelessness, and there has been city park workers that have been bitten, spat on, and had to clean up human waste daily. So also there was a report from the fire chief Michael Moore that said that his department responded to about 20,000 incidents a year involving homelessness issues, including 451 fires from July 2015 to July 2016, and a cost of about $6 million. Then there was a discussion. Also, there was business owners who came there, and they were describing how the homelessness affects their business establishment. So they were talking about fixing broken windows, replacing lights, and people sleeping on their properties, and store managers being threatened for asking someone to leave their business. But also, another thing they were talking about too, there was the city's homeless coordinator that was talking about permanent, supportive housing is would cost about $15,450 a year for a family, while paying for public safety and other services for a chronic homeless person that would cost about $60,000 a year. So then there was a person that made a comment that said something like, housing works for everyone, even the people we think can't be helped. And he said, we cannot arrest our way out of this.
And that's very true. Like I said, there was something that was done in another city where they incentivized the homeless, and instead of like running them off and arresting them, they gave them a job. And when I'm saying a job, it ain't like they had to go to the city. It's like if they were cleaning up a certain area of the street that they occupied, they gave them money where they can go get a hotel for the night or whatever the deal is. And here in Moreno Valley, we need to do something like that ourselves to incentivize, because when you have warehousing, unfortunately, people don't want to believe this. Now, I'm a logistics person. When you have and you inundate your city with warehouses, you also inundate it with trucks, prostitution, and homeless. Because look around you right now at this time of year. They're all hiring. The hiring season.
Yes. And
people are going to be that are desperate for jobs are going to just come in here to make a little extra money and do what they got to do. And that's what we're doing. But the homeless problem, it isn't just a Moreno Valley problem. I think it's a region problem.
Oh, well, yeah, it is. Because when you go down to Palm Springs, they had a bad homeless issue. Mm-hmm. They still do. But the thing about it is, they together, they had a task force, and they still have a task force with residents, and they got the county involved in mental health and substance abuse. And they also got other social services involved to help the homeless people. Because every homeless person they have hope. We can't afford to throw any one person away, but yes, they have to want to help themselves, but there's people that do want help. And in the fortunate in our city, we have a lot of nonprofits. We have churches, and we have county services, but we don't coordinate
utilize it,
strategize to the point where we can tackle that issue.
Right.
And that's the big issue that some people don't look at right now, but that's what happens when you see people walking around. Like we up here at Starbucks right now, and we saw a young lady who was out, and I know she probably need help, but the thing is, she gotta want to help her. But we don't have any coordinated efforts to tackle this important issue.
You know, and again, like it's like the Edgemont thing that we were talking about earlier.
Yes.
32 years, when are we going to address the Edgemont problem? I mean, we can talk about this all, we're going to wait another 80 years, and that's my point about it. When do we seriously address the Edgemont problem? Now, I want to talk about LaDonna Jimson going over here, going over there, looking busy and stuff like that. Why is it that only during election time does our representatives look busy? Just because you look busy doesn't mean you're doing anything. If you remember from the debate, Miss Jimson admitted, and it's on video, that she met with me, who told her what she needed to do. And you don't have to go to Edgemont. You don't have to be a brain surgeon to go to Edgemont and look around and see what needs to be done.
Well, it's a lot of things like in this city that needs it, and that's the thing about it. It's a full-time issue. It's not a part-time
issue.
When it comes to election time, we have homeless folks. We have all kinds of issues where it comes to mental health issues, substance abuse issues, and there are people that are suffering. And it affects a lot of these, like up here, we're right here where Sunnymead Boulevard is. You have all these liquor stores, and you have folks that go there for a variety of reasons, but a lot of them go there because they hurting. And they see a bill or something they can't pay, and they got other issues going on we don't know about. And that's the problem. You can't put a Band-Aid on that kind of a solution. You got to have a permanent solution, and you got to tackle the root problems, which is mental health and substance abuse. And these folks need hope. And the thing, like we were saying before, as the lady with the hole in the roof, that we have to have a caring heart. And not a part of we were just going to do it for election time. We're going to do it year-round, that we're going to get a task force together. We're going to bring in the nonprofits, the social services. We got to bring in the faith-based institutions to tackle, and the business community to tackle this issue. Not just to say, let's lock them up and throw away the key. No, try to help these guys, to give them the resources they need to get them back on their feet. And the ones that want to, and the ones we can't do, we still got to care about them. But we just don't, like the lady, like he said, we don't lock them up and throw away the key and arrest ourselves out of this problem. There's a problem that's here to stay.
Right,
unfortunately.
Because when you arrest people, that costs money to lock them up and house them.
Yes.
But again, you know, I hate the fact that everything costs money, but it's almost like when they want to feed the homeless during Christmas time.
Yeah.
I'm very sure that these people are hungry the other 360 days of the year. Why is it that we just care about the people who don't have anything to eat only during Thanksgiving and Christmas time?
Well, yeah, that's a big issue right there.
And I hope Highland Fairview will be giving out turkeys this year. You know, so Daryl, I will bet you Highland Fairview will not be giving out turkeys this year. How much do you want to make a bet?
Interesting.
Now, coming in on the wire, we just got information that, very surprising information, Dr. Denise Fleming, I want everybody to tune in next week because this information is factual information. Is it going to spoil her campaign? Absolutely not. But according to the information that we got, this lady has absolutely reinvented herself. And what do we mean by that? We might not be dealing with the person we think we're dealing with. Now, is this a LaDonna Jimson issue where she's a criminal and a bank robber? No. But please tune in next week because we've got the tea on this and we're going to spill it next week. I know everybody's going to talk about it. Oh, he's just throwing stuff out. I want everybody to remember this. I've been doing this show for 2 years now. I have yet to be sued for slander. I have yet to be, I don't throw stuff that is not factual out because that isn't how I am. Okay, because I don't want nobody to do that to me. But we found out some information on Dr. Denise Fleming that is very shocking to myself. Daryl is a candidate and he has nothing to do with this, but he heard the same information I heard. That's all I can say in regards to Mr. Terrell. But Daryl, I'm going to swear you to secrecy. Let me handle this, and you stay out of it. You happen to have been here when I heard this information, so I'm going to take it from here if you don't mind.
No, that's your
Thank
business.
you.
That's your issue.
That's my issue with that. Right.
But
Right.
it's
because again, my problem with Dr. Fleming is not a personal problem. I do not feel that she's an ethical candidate, and once again, this shows her character. I think character is very important when it comes to elected officials. That's why we hold them such a high regard. So, for those that don't know, me and Dr. Fleming, I believe she is probably the most qualified person to be mayor. But, however, she is not ethically qualified. She has the credentials, she has the education, undoubtedly. Compared to everybody else other than Dr. Thin, she is capable of doing the job. All of them are capable. But I honestly believe overall she has the best qualifications to be mayor. But her Achilles heel, in my opinion, is she's not ethical. And the reason why I say she's not ethical is how she is conducting her campaign, and she's showing that to be true. And the information that we just received today shows why she is not an ethical candidate. And we're going to bring that out next week. So please stay tuned, and we're going to get you some more information, because I want to definitely make sure that this is what we heard. So again, that's going to be on us. And I'm not saying it's going to cost you the election, but I think people need to know what's really going on. So again, when you tell somebody that they are unelectable, and it's funny how when I tell people about Miss Fleming and what the beef is, they go, yeah, that does sound like her. That does sound like her. That is something she would say. So again, it's the problem between me and Mrs. Fleming. Yeah, it is a personal thing, but when it comes to this, I don't know Miss Fleming enough to even call her a friend. All I'm saying is, as a candidate, she totally sucks. Now, that's my opinion. I'm going to stick to it. But again, so Mr. Terrell, getting back to what's happening in Moreno Valley, the school board meeting had happened, and I heard that I finally did see the tape of Luis Palomares going off on Miss Fleming, but I heard the other day that something happened, and Miss Fleming had a gift card. You were saying, with she was giving out a card or some kind of.
I saw something on Facebook.
Yeah, I read it on Facebook where she was giving a gift card, and Luis Palomares came at her again.
Yeah, that's why I read on Facebook. I wasn't at the meeting.
Yeah, I went to the meeting. Yeah,
but that's what I read.
Right, and somebody read something where it's like, if she's giving out gift cards to buy people off, we're going to look more into that story, but for some reason, Victoria Bacchus Goon Squad is singling out Mrs. Fleming and how she's conducting her campaign. Now, I don't even like the Goon Squad. Now, if I'm saying that this lady's unethical and the Goon Squad's saying she's unethical, well, that ain't really saying much. I understand that. But, you got two different factions saying the same thing, you might have a problem. Oh, I know who said that. It was Joanne Steffens. That's where we read it from. Joanne Steffens.
Yeah,
on a Facebook post. So, and I happen to agree with her because, again, there's something more to it than what she's saying. But who am I to talk about Denise Fleming from Chicago? I'm running to unite everybody. I think her thing is the stupidest thing. I want to bring science and things like. When your city invests in warehouses, Disneyland is not coming here. Google is not coming here. Nobody's bringing their headquarters here. We are a warehouse city. We are the city of commerce. So her whole thing is stupid. What is your take on that?
Well, like we were saying, you have the warehousing industry, you have the logistics, and I was talking about unity, and like we were saying, in order for you, because these warehouses are not going to be like your dad's or warehouses where you drive on a greasy forklift all around the place. You got to have some specialized training. And one of the things we haven't heard, we saw investment by Highland Fairview and the money for training, but again, it's going to take a collaborative effort. Again, because it doesn't. If this comes to reality, if it survives the legal system, and
it recently did as they settled. Isn't it sad that we would rather settle and take money rather than the people's lives? But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and the thing is, though, as you said before, we got to put the infrastructure in, like you're saying about the trucking and everything, like you're saying. But at the same time, it doesn't do us any good to bring in any type of high-tech logistics into this community and having our people not even having to share the jobs because we lack an educated, skilled workforce. That's why it's so important that we do have a training program, not just any training when you get a certificate, but a training where we partner with that business who eventually comes in.
Right. I see where you're going with that, Daryl, because you've talked about that before. Yeah. But the fact of the matter is, how many people want to work in a logistical warehouse?
I agree. I agree with
you. Highland Fairview, everybody's making it sound like thousands of people are waiting for this training to happen, and that's not true.
Well, see, that's the thing about it, and you're right. But the thing, like you said before, your whole premise is that we have to prepare. And it's like when Karma came, came in. This was high-tech, skilled jobs. And how many folks from Reno Valley actually landed those jobs?
0.
Well, that's my whole point. Yeah, people are probably going to line up, but if we don't have the structure in place so people that may want to do it, that they could go into these jobs.
Well, what I was saying about the infrastructure also to go with that is the fact that not everybody wants to work in a warehouse.
Yeah, exactly.
But I might want to work at the truck tire shop. I might want to work at the truck stop. I might want to work at the transmission shop.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, though. Because, like you're saying, too, but if we don't have a strategy on how to get those skills, like it starts at the high school level, starts at the middle school level, if we don't have a path into those kind of connections, those kids who's not college bound, the ones that says, hey, you know what, maybe I want to be a mechanic, or maybe I want to be the one that like you said, fix wherever it has the clusters to those businesses, then they won't have a path. But if we, as a community, work together, like your idea, and start working with the high schools and start connecting those paths so those kids could get those skills, so they could go into it, could make some good money.
Yes, absolutely.
And so,
absolutely.
And same thing, if they don't want to go into the warehouse, but if you have a path that the ones that do, but at least they have a path to ensure that they will have a job if they decide to.
And here's another thing: as somebody who has an aeronautical background, like I do, the basic aircraft mechanic, you don't need a college degree. You just an aircraft mechanic, $25 an hour working for the airlines. Do you know what a pilot makes starting in the airline business?
How much?
$14 an hour. $14 an hour. We're talking about the little jets. We're not talking about the big jet. It takes you a long time to be a 747 pilot, whatever the deal is, unless you know the right people.
Yes.
But a lot of people don't know that. To become a pilot, it costs almost $250,000 to go through the training, and that's if you get it on the first try.
Yeah.
So $250,000 to take a $14 an hour job to work your way up to what we call the heavies. So whenever I go to LAX or Ontario and I see a young pilot in there, I get nervous because when I'm at 45,000 feet, I want somebody that has some gray hair in his head and I know has experience to handle an in-flight emergency. Not saying that you got some young guys that whatever, but because if you're making $14 an hour as a pilot, you're probably working at Starbucks part-time, and there's a bunch of movies on it. I think Michael Moore is the most famous movie where the pilots were saying they were on food stamps and stuff like this, and they're working 2 jobs, and that there was a crash that happened in Buffalo years ago. Yeah. The pilots crashed because they were talking about their pay problems within the airlines. So my point is this: you could be an aircraft mechanic, no college degree, and you could make more than a pilot.
Well, yeah.
Because you got that skill as a mechanic. So in the logistics industry, like we were saying, we need to get auto mechanics back into high schools. Well, we need to do that.
Well, that's the same thing. But like you said, okay, let's see, 3/4 of all the new jobs coming into our area is going to require you to have an education beyond high school, but less than than
Right,
a 4-year degree.
Right.
So it's the same thing with some of these STEM kind of. So when you think of STEM, you think about, well, I got to go to these big old colleges and pay $20,000 to $30,000 a year. I'm gonna be saddled with debt. But a lot of STEM jobs don't require you to have a 4-year degree. It requires a specialized training or a 2-year degree. But we haven't done enough to focus on our own local Moreno Valley College.
Right.
And these jobs pay like big money. Some of these jobs, I'm telling you, they don't require you 4-year. It pay big money, like you were talking about. But we don't put enough emphasis on that.
Well, I don't think it's that we don't put enough emphasis on it. The problem is we have parents and uncles and aunts that grew up in the 70s that don't understand the dynamics have changed and the pay scale has changed. You don't, like I said, you don't have to work in a warehouse to make that kind of money. You can work outside of that and be an entrepreneur.
Agree.
You know what I mean? So, it's basically the ignorance of the people my age, basically. We're still living in the past of how it's supposed to be.
Well, yeah, because a lot of people, like again, when you think of warehouses, you think of the grease. I had to say
the grease slick and stuff,
going
and
inside,
in and out,
and
exactly.
using arms, because a lot of the stuff now is
automated.
robotic.
It's automated.
It's automated, and in order for you to do that, you're going to have some skills,
right?
And that means it's beyond high school. It's just not enough to just from high school to get into some of these places.
Right, or be a PlayStation guru.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing about it. A lot of these kids, when you say, because the modern day warehouses, it's not your daddy's warehouse
right
anymore.
I mean, some of these warehouses are being automated all the way from India and China,
and so you got to have some skills to fix them. You got someone to operate them. It's like my daddy worked in GM. He put bumpers on cars, but now if you look at it, it's robots. But the people behind are the people who
technicians.
And you go to school that, man, you don't have to have a 4-year degree, but you need specialized training. And that's what the things that when people say, I want a job, they should be saying, I want training.
Well, let me also tell the listeners this to kind of blow their mind. In aeronautics, we had a saying, you can teach a monkey to fly, but you can't teach a monkey to fix an airplane. The most important component is that mechanic. Because, like I said right now, the UAVs that are flying in, there's a pilot. There's no pilot at all. And remember back in the day when we were younger, Daryl, and you would get on a Delta airline flight, you had a radio operator, you had a navigator, you had 2 pilots and a flight engineer. That's 5 people. We are now down to 2. Eventually, it's going to be 1, then it's going to be 0.
Yeah, exactly.
But you're always going to have that mechanic.
Well, yeah.
That technician.
Again, just like I said, when things progress from the Industrial Revolution to the modern what we have right now, but it's progressing even more faster, more technology, more kids introduced to technology. That's why I always say that we have to do something more to make preschool more affordable.
Yes.
And to give parents who want to have a chance to go to preschool, we should create these collaborations and things. That's the whole thing about when I say these kids are the next greatest generation, is because the fact these kids are so in touch with technology at an early age.
So let me ask you this. I know you're going to be busy after you win the election, and you got a lot of ideas that you want to put, and listen to a lot of ideas and stuff like that. Could I give you a call and give you some of these ideas to maybe get these things back into the schools and make some entrepreneurs?
Well, yeah, I'm open to, like I said, I'm open to any idea. See, my thing has always been, if I was an elected official and someone gives me an idea, I'm going to work with that person.
If it's a good idea.
If it's a good idea. But I want to make sure I include that individual. Just the fact that the knowledge that this individual gave me that idea, but the thing is, it's going to help a lot of people. But just the fact to say, this individual did this idea, he done the research, and give the person the credit where it's due.
Right.
Because I'm only a elected official, and I can make someone's idea a reality. But it was that person who had that idea. It was that person. It's just like we have a lot of these modern technology, like a lot of these inventions out here. There was one person who was sitting in this room, figured out, hey, I could create this, but someone stole their idea, didn't give that person no credit. So this person sitting here, that was my idea.
Wow, it sounds like Gutierrez that stole your hire Moval idea. That's kind of ironic that you're saying that.
But see, that's the thing. But see, that's what I would have done is to give that individual credit. Just do.
Yeah.
Because me as a resident, I can't do nothing. All I can do is say, here, elected official, here's a good idea that I think could work.
Wow, isn't that the same thing I told Jimson? It's funny how she only gives me credit when she's put on the spot and I'm actually there with her.
Yeah, well, that has to change. And when you have elected officials,
When you have politicians.
Well, we need public servants, but
Absolutely.
But the thing is, because ideas get brought forward, you build on those ideas.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you have ideas in different cities, because somebody built on that idea. And if that idea works to put people back to work, or put them, or have an issue resolved, that's more power to you, because the credit doesn't go to the person who was in position to make it happen. It goes to everybody who put the input. It goes to the person who put the effort in to study that idea. And that person who says, hey, this is what's going on, like Melissa Martinez did with what she brought up.
Right.
The same principle should go to, because residents won't give ideas out if they know that no one listened to them. We listen to you, but we're not going to recognize you.
Right. I just got a question that just came in. Darryl Terrell, if you're on the school board and you're sitting on the board and a parent came up to you and had a problem with a child that was being bullied, how would you handle that?
Well, one of the things well, first of all, we have to figure out what the facts are. But the most important thing a school board member should do is to inform that parent, and that means keep them in the loop. Take them, because a lot of times parents, like with the special need kids, a lot of them feel that they're not listened to.
Okay.
There's no feedback, because I know the process takes long. But the parent, to me, if my kid is being abused or bullied,
or you feel that they're being abused, you don't know for a fact.
Yeah, I get all the facts, but the thing is, I'm gonna keep that parent in the loop and say, okay, Miss Jones, or here's or Mr. Jones, here's the situation we found out. And some of this stuff may be confidential, but the facts are that they are not in the dark anymore. Okay. The fact that we follow up with these parents to make sure that, hey, this is what's going on, this is the process, what's happening. Here's the process. I'm gonna inform you and let you know what's exactly happening.
Okay, Mr. Chair, here's another question that I'm reading off of here. Of course, the majority of our city is Hispanic Latino. I've got a student who doesn't really speak. The parents don't really speak English. The kid is saying one thing, but the parents are, they don't. There's a language barrier. How would you handle to communicate with that parent? I know you can get an interpreter and stuff like that, but you're dealing with a parent who's from another country, yes, basically, and their traditions and their background is different than what we do here in America. So how would you communicate your position or your answer in regards to how we do things here with that parent to make them understand this is the situation, or like tradition versus value?
Well, for one thing, it's going to be, we have a child that speak English and the parents that don't.
Right.
And so my way would handle a situation like that is, because me speaking very little Spanish, is I would bring someone who like, I would say, again, an interpreter, but I want to make sure that, because when parents if they don't know the language, then they feel that they're in the dark again.
Yes, exactly.
They don't have, no one cares about me.
That's exactly where I'm going.
And
right.
you have a kid that says, my mom is this, my mom's that. But one thing I want to know is, find out what's the parent, what's the language they speak.
Okay.
And this district has people. And I would have to also figure out, here's what we do. You got to explain the process to the parent, because the parent probably doesn't know the process because of that language barrier.
That language barrier.
So we got to bring someone in to explain to them this is what the process is. But the most important thing that we got to be with that person. We got to follow up with that person. And that's not saying give them a one answer, say this is it. But we got to follow up into like I say, because the cultural
differences
are different. So we have to. Here's the process. I understand where you're coming from, but this is how we do things. But the thing I would promise you we will make sure that we will follow up with you, and we'll be there as your partner. The thing is, there's no partnership.
Right.
They feel that this big bad school district is a bully.
Right.
It's intimidating, so they like to interact
Well,
with them.
let me ask you this. I'm going to cut you off.
Uh-huh.
Why can't we? I think to alleviate the problem, we have a high Hispanic population here.
Yeah.
Why doesn't our schools have mandatory immersion programs? Because if I was going to the school as a black kid or a white kid or whatever, everybody around me basically speaks Spanish.
Yeah.
And I feel left out of the loop because I don't understand. Why isn't that mandatory? It's almost like the curriculum of schools. We say you got to have government, you got to take this, you got to take that. Why don't we have, you got to take Spanish?
Well, I think the school, when I was informed, the school district does have some that do have dual immersion program, but it's not enough.
I'm saying, why isn't it mandatory?
Well, it should. Okay.
It should be.
It should be mandatory. I agree with you, because I think, but also, see, the parents. Again, we go to where a parent doesn't speak English, but we should try to get those parents to learn English, because that's the only way we're gonna.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is a lot of the problems that some of these kids have in school is culturally. Like I said, if I'm in there and I feel that I'm being threatened by a bunch of, I'm going to make this up, Martians, and they're speaking a language and it seems hostile to me, or I don't understand what they're saying because of the language barrier. If there was a mandatory immersion program, I can speak the language of the majority of the people that attend my school.
Well, yeah, I like I said, I agree with you.
It
should be mandatory. I would agree with you, because the fact in order for us to ever build a bridge, or ever to be united, we have to know each other's culture. We have to know each other's language.
Right, and I know a lot of people are saying, well, this is America, you should learn English. That ain't what we're saying.
No.
If you go outside of America, the second language in almost every country is English, which is the hardest language to learn.
Yes.
We are the only country that have all these different denominations of people from all over the world that live here. And we do not speak the language of the dominant cultures in our cities and states and stuff like that. And that's what I'm saying. It's to me, it's like, if as a black kid, if I understood what everybody, when I was living in Japan as a military kid, most of everybody spoke Japanese around me. So for me to understand and feel accepted, I had to learn Japanese, which was a choice.
Yeah.
It wasn't mandatory, but I think to alleviate a lot of the problems with the school board, if we had a language.
Well, yeah, that, but also too, when we come to the special needs kids, and again, when you have parents coming in and their last hope is, I'm gonna go to the state or federal government to sue the district. It should never got to that point. And
Absolutely.
see, that my thing is that we should, when it comes to special need kids and the parents, we gotta keep them in the loop. And one thing that may be a good suggestion that someone that I talked to, a special needs parent, was that maybe that we, not the school district, but the school board should hire an advocate that fight for those kids, for those parents.
Not Victoria Baca, right?
Well, the someone that can advocate for them, and to make sure in those IEP that they will fully live up to what is written in there for that child. That child should have whatever resources that's written in that contract.
Okay.
And instead of the district deny those kids or that parent whatever equipment they need or whatever it is that can help those kids to move forward. And that's the kind of thing I think we need, an advocate that's by the school, not it's intimidating.
All right. Well, there it is. Next week, the hot seat, Daryl Terrell, Donovan Sadiq, me and Sean Fortine, and Mighty Max. And we'll see you guys next week as we go through the hot seat.